We can switch off.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello, world.
Is it better this way? But the sun's gonna be in my face, yo. Yeah, my sun's.
There we go.
The sun's in my
Is that
face.
good? No?
I don't know.
Around the world.
We're figuring out angles today.
Yes.
That's better. That's
Around the world with Amy and Krista, otherwise known as History Loves Company.
Yeah.
This is our 547th episode. No, not really. It just feels like that. Hopefully you guys can hear us great.
Yeah, let me know if somebody pops on.
I'm gonna put my glasses on. This is too much.
Like-
Wait a minute. And let everybody jump on.
We got people's
2
jumping.
o'clock. If it starts fogging up, that didn't help
You
a bit. A bit.
What?
My sunglasses.
I told you that's why I couldn't put mine on because I'm gonna wear mine. But see, I brought green ones in honor.
Come this way.
Where am I going?
Back around this way so we can see.
But see, then I can't see the screen.
Oh boy.
How am I gonna read their questions?
So where are we today?
I put it in the description.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
We do have. Hey, Lynn. We do have our masks on today, even though we were outside, because we are on federal property, and I didn't realize this, but Krista found out that as of
The new administration has made it
Yes.
so. So if you are walking in the National Cemetery or Kennesaw Mountain, you do have to wear your mask now, and that is why we have ours on.
Yeah, on all federal property.
All federal property.
You have to have your mask. So we are following the rules.
I have a cat one today. You have your Marietta one, but I have
Yes.
my cat.
Representing the city.
I did that for council.
Yes.
That's
So, yes. So,
Oh!
there's a truck coming.
what?
Oh,
Wait.
going that way?
She went one way. I went the other.
Get out of the way of the truck. Today, everybody, it's turned out to be a beautiful day, even though it's a little chilly, but still, it's a good day to be outside. So we are at yesterday was what?
Yesterday was colder, I think.
Yes. We are at the National Cemetery, the Marietta National Cemetery, if you can't tell from the tombstones behind me here. We're going to be walking around the property, and
They've been doing some work, so this is the truck that's going to go past us.
yeah, let this go by. They removed the tree, which I looked in the dumpster at the tree, and it's really cool because the way they cut it, you can see inside some honeycomb and stuff from where bees were. It's pretty cool. I did not take the time to count the rings, though. I don't know how old that tree was, but the National Cemetery here in Marietta is located, the entrance is on Washington Avenue, would that be the address? And Cole Street.
Yes.
Washington Avenue and Cole Street, the intersection, which is just one street over parallel to Roswell Street.
Hi, Davis. Hi, Anna. Hi, Eddie. Nice to have you.
And of course you can, see the National Cemetery as you drive down Roswell Street from the square towards the Big Chicken. It's on your left.
They would know that because they watched our video a few weeks ago at the Coca-Cola building where we showed it.
That's right. So, yeah, we were inside that day looking out the window towards the cemetery. So today we're out here at the cemetery. Now, this cemetery is an absolute, just gorgeous
gem.
spot. I mean, it's
Oh
a
my
gem.
gosh.
It's just, we are so blessed in this community to have this here for a variety of reasons. And not only for how beautiful it is, but for, its purpose of, a sacred space for our fallen military and their wives in many instances, and children too, and in some cases. But we today we are not going to focus as much on the men and women who are buried here, simply because there's so many important ones that really it's a book's worth of information and research. So today we're going to focus more on the history of the site itself and how it came to be here, who was involved in that, the transformation of the cemetery over the years, and some of the more the highlights of some of the things in the cemetery.
We'll have 4 stops, which was what we planned out. But before we start, we did do something very special for this special place today.
Yes, we did.
First off, this cemetery is not like the city cemetery where it's a little bit flatter and easier to walk. So there's some hills in this cemetery, so we needed a ride.
Gotta have a ride.
Gotta have a ride.
I know how we like the rides. If you go back and watch our video at the City Club, we were excellent drivers on the
You drove,
golf carts.
I
was an excellent
You
driver.
were. I had no problem with it.
Yes.
So our ride today is actually a part of the museum's collection. And I have never driven it because I don't know how to drive stick shift, and I don't plan on learning on this. So, guys, I'm gonna move up a minute.
It's a little different. I've driven it. It's not as easy to drive as cars today, standard cars today. But we got Lady Jane out of storage.
We'll get up close and personal later, but
Yeah. Do you want to? We can walk up a minute. Just
We can
to
do that.
Look a little closer. So Lady Jane is a 1942 Ford Jeep. Okay, and so she was made not by the Jeep company that we have today, but by Ford. Before World War II, actually, when the Jeep models were first kind of invented, a lot of different companies were trying to make this style. You had Willys, you had Ford, Jeep models, I guess. There's probably some others I'm not thinking of, but this one is a Ford, and it's called Lady Jane in honor of Jane Glover Hawkins, who is a board member of ours and a friend of the museum. And this was her father's that he brought home after World War II, and they kept it on their farm.
one of two actually. I think they
One
had
of
two.
Okay, yeah. And he brought it home. His father, or her father, was oh goodness,
Bolin
John.
the third,
Huh?
the third Bolin Glover.
No, he was John Glover.
Oh, I thought he was
Yeah,
Bolin.
Jane hops on here. Anyways, he was a Glover Park. We've done Glover Locomotive and all that, but
She donated it too.
yes,
That's also why
donated
she.
it to the museum. So we named the Jeep Lady Jane, and we do love Lady Jane.
She's
and-
been in a number of parades. She does get out.
does.
So she hasn't been out in a little while, but we Amy. All right, I'm gonna turn back.
Well,
I'll give Amy credit. She thought of this. I said, okay, you plan it. I'll do whatever
Well,
you
you
tell
know,
me to.
I wanted to try to get one of those SUV things from the city facilities guys, and I was told no, I can't have one of those. So
No, they're not an SUV. It's
What
one
is
of their
it?
little like
Not
Polaris.
SUV,
Their
Polaris
their
things,
little
not SUV.
carts.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Because Amy got the bug for driving the little carts around. So let me turn the camera around again, just so you guys can see. We're kind of on the hill, but if you've never been over here, what the actual entrance looks like is that archway. So this is actually kind of, I guess I should actually start now. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll start with the beginning. That's a good place to start.
In the beginning,
In the beginning, there was a war.
there was indeed a war.
Not gonna lie.
Between the states.
Now, okay, guys, if you can see in this view, you've got the archway, and then just behind it is Kennesaw Mountain.
Yes.
So it's a
yes.
great view.
Yes, and we're gonna still go up higher in elevation, but this
Yes.
site in Marietta, sometimes it's hard to tell with all the trees and buildings now, but this is a very high site in the elevation of the city.
Yes. So we're walking towards this archway. This is the main archway for this national cemetery, originally called the Marietta and Atlanta
Uh-huh.
National Cemetery.
Okay.
And I mean, like any smart person, I'd drop the Atlanta part too and just be Marietta National Cemetery.
That's
We
right.
don't need Atlanta's name on there.
That's right.
So, we're not going to necessarily talk about the man just yet who donated the land.
Right?
I'm leaving that one for Amy because
He's my fave.
he is one of your faves. He's one of your peeps.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to talk about him. He's one of your peeps. So what does it say up there, Amy? Because I can't read it
Okay,
from
it
this.
says Marietta National Military Cemetery.
Oh.
Here rest the remains of 10,132 officers and soldiers who died in defense of the Union, 1861 to 1865. Now, this arch was erected in 78, I think. 78, what was it?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, right around there. So at that point, that's how many were buried here. So of course, obviously, we have way more than that now. But yeah, and there's a plaque in dedication to Henry Greencole that we will talk about him. He donated the land for the cemetery, and we'll get into his story in a minute.
But yeah, so with this plaque though, real quick before I forget,
Yeah.
this plaque, in order to actually have it put on the column in the cemetery, which obviously at that point was federal property, they had to get permission through the federal legislature.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1909, they were able to do that. And so that's why it's here now. So you can't
I-
just put things randomly up
Right,
without
and
permission.
I noticed in the same what would you call it, bill that was passed for
Yes.
that? In the same bill was also the approval of a plaque for get out of the way.
I saw
The
it.
approval for a plaque for, I think, Betsy Ross somewhere.
Something like that.
Yeah,
no,
like
no,
in
no,
another
no.
park
No,
somewhere.
no, I know what it is. It wasn't Betsy Ross.
Oh.
It was Fort McHenry and the
Oh, the
Francis
Francis Scott Key.
Yes, I was like, oh wait, it's
Hey, you know,
stupid.
all that American Revolutionary stuff is.
Well, that wasn't American
Out of my
Revolution.
wheelhouse.
That was War of 1812.
Whatever. Okay. Obviously, anything pre-Georgia is out of my wheelhouse. Okay. So,
Georgia was a state. But okay, so let me step back and show you guys this again. So this archway is one of, what do we decide, 5?
Yes, 5.
5 that are in national cemeteries. This was the last one erected. I believe, is Arlington? Or no.
I know
Chattanooga has one, but
I don't remember the other 4.
So one of
the other 3.
I think maybe Alexandria. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But so you'll see military markers are very specific, and when we go through, you will see others that aren't this shape, and that's because they either were an officer or they had permission. And other cemeteries that are not military cemeteries can have military markers. You just have to go through the process to get that, which is by proving all that kind of stuff.
So before we jump too far ahead,
yes.
So the Civil War ends, and as you can imagine, with the battles around Marietta and Kennesaw Mountain, the Atlanta campaign, even thousands upon thousands of men from both sides died. Well, Henry Green Cole had this land, and after the war, wanted to donate it to the state, actually, for burial of both Confederate and Union officers. Well, the state said thanks, but no thanks. We're not interested in burying our Confederate dead with the Union officers.
Well, maybe we should say why he decided he could donate this land that was his.
Well, I was going to get into his story later.
Well, I was going to show them that house.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's his house.
There's his house.
He lived right there. He owned, the house first, actually.
Which one?
Right here.
Ah,
so, actually,
the 3 window dormers.
That house was built
later.
This house right here that you're looking at, which is hard to see from the trees, but
it's got the 3 dormer
roofs.
roofs.
It's been added on, but
windows. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the original Cole family house. So they owned all this property up here. So that's why. And so basically, he wanted to donate the land. The state said no, so he offered it to the federal government, which then said yes, thank you very much. And after the war, a Chaplain Van Horn, with the United States Army, was charged with removing, or what do you call it, reinterring?
Yeah, so it's an exhumation and then a reinterment.
Okay, of all the thousands of Union soldiers who had been buried all over the Atlanta area, really, and bringing them here, he was very meticulous in his style of how and where he placed them by their units and states and where they were from, and he took incredible notes. You can find out more information on all of that, very detailed information, in at least one of a couple of books that Brad Quinlan, a local historian and the premier historian really for this cemetery, has written. And do we still have those in the gift shop?
Is that the Rest Brave Soldiers, the thinner? Yes, we do have them. Yeah.
So you can purchase that if you want more information on the process of moving those Civil War soldiers here, and letters actually about their lives specifically, some of them. So so that's why the cemetery was placed here, and why it's a national cemetery. So they had to put them all somewhere. So
the layout, though, too, if I remember correctly, Chaplain Van Horn, Chattanooga's laid out kind of in pattern-wise in a similar. If you, does this map show it? So there are some interpretive panels. I'll show these real quick because it might. This one's more about the national cemetery system. I thought that picture was more what I was looking for, but it wasn't. Okay, y'all. There's Henry Green Cole.
There he is. He is a looker.
Yeah.
I mean,
But there's the archway we were just at.
Yeah, and that's from 1904.
Yeah. So when you see a lot of the early documentation, it's the U.S. Army that took care of the national cemeteries, and then later it's now the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. So, so also up here, you might have noticed this little. Oh. This face. You might notice this face. I didn't mean to do that, but this face. This house.
Yeah.
This building. So this is a Dutch colonial revival built in 1920. Yeah, listen to my architectural skills.
Go. Bring it.
So this is the lodge that would have been for the superintendent, the offices. But this is the second version.
Correct.
The first version was a 1-story building, and actually it would have been more down on like this side, that way, 1-story building that then they decided, this is my favorite. They're like, okay, so we need more space in this original building. Let's build a second story. Does anybody check to see if the first story was actually structurally sound to hold a second story?
Why
No.
would you do that? I don't know. No.
So what did they end up doing? Sorry that my hair goes and I hit the microphone. But sorry. So they realized that it doesn't work in 1909.
Yeah.
They build this in 1920. So
Yeah.
the poor person's got to live in a building that's not structurally
Falling
sound for like
down.
10 years. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's lovely.
Yeah.
But this one right here is the first of the Dutch colonial style lodges to be built in a national cemetery. Other ones have it, but of course
Yeah.
we're the first. We're always awesome like that.
Yeah, I do think it's cool that if you start traveling and visiting national cemeteries, you will see very similar things like the arch and the house, the building, you know, all these kind of things.
This information about the lodge and the next place we go to is available through Library of Congress. They have done Department of Veteran Affairs and Army have gone through and really timelined everything. They're very meticulous. I wish I had all that kind of. So, but yeah, we found out, ironically enough, yesterday, Amy was snooping people, but it was to our advantage. I know, just, yeah. So she's snooping
Not
around.
nosy at all.
No, she didn't go inside, but she did go down the stairs because she thought she's like, there's a basement.
There are back stairs
There
that
were.
lead to a basement.
There are.
I didn't go inside. I didn't break and enter.
No, you didn't.
Hey.
No, you're totally legal.
I was just peeking in
You
all
were.
the windows.
But ironically enough, the new superintendent was here.
Yes.
He's
Like, what are you guys?
he was really nice. He was like, "Can I help you?" And we're like, we're nosy people. No, so we explained what we were doing. But then he informed us that the building is now going to be used by, is it a literacy
Something.
group?
It's a private company anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to be leasing it out. So who knew? You could federal property lease out some of their buildings.
So
if you wanna...
this cemetery, the superintendent for this cemetery actually works at the one in Canton now.
Waleska, I
Well,
think, or White.
no, it's
Is
Canton.
it Waleska? It's Canton?
It's
Oh,
Canton.
okay. I don't know.
I do know.
Okay.
It's
It is Canton.
it's that Canton-Waleska
Yeah.
border, but I think it's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
a Canton address.
Yeah.
So that's where he works. He was just happened to be down here yesterday.
Which the reason they have that one is because this one filled up, and they needed obviously more spaces for the regional.
Well, it wasn't
military.
like this would filled up 10 years ago. They stopped selling internments in 1970 for this one. So Georgia just needed another one. So what were
one thing that I just remembered that I thought was another interesting little tidbit was after they moved all the Union soldiers over here, it wasn't too much longer, maybe 10 or 20 years after that, they actually moved another 800 or 900
811.
Boom. 811 soldiers from there was a national cemetery in Montgomery.
It was
I didn't know that.
it was supposed to be temporary. Like
Oh,
it was
okay.
it was
Okay.
made for that.
Yeah.
But
So they moved them here. So if you're ever
moved them here.
looking for an ancestor who it somehow documents that they were in Montgomery, then they may be
yeah,
here now.
there yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so this is kind of like the beginning. We're kind of at the low part. We're gonna
Yes.
go to the top of the hill.
Yeah, but before we get in the Jeep, I've decided, let me explain the wall here before it gets loud in the Jeep, because I thought that might be hard if we're driving past the wall.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. All right, I'm gonna
So-
turn so you guys can see the wall, and we can get up
let's
closer here.
Walk over here. So, and we'll walk closer to Henry's house. So basically,
Yeah, there's grass here. I don't know why they couldn't do some internments here now.
maybe they have. We don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know. I'm not sure of their rules on that. But so Henry, they after the war they kind of outgrow that house. They've got 5 children and grandchildren, all this coming along. And so before he dies in we'll figure out his
1875, I
death year,
think.
1875. They're in the process of building this what we call Cole Manor over here, which is a beautiful home.
We have had the pleasure of going into.
Absolutely, been in that basement.
Yep.
And attic.
Yes.
And so that's being built when he dies. And I guess at that time he's also superintendent of the cemetery as well. At some point he was given that job somewhere in the 70s, 1870s.
Pre 1875.
Well, yeah. So, anyways, he also, I believe as the story goes, let me think. He was building a bridge over a railroad.
I was gonna say troubled water, but whatever.
Bridge over troubled he had a lot of land. He was a landowner all over North Carolina. And I think he was building a bridge of some sort, or maybe he was involved in the building of a bridge. And he had a whole bunch of extra rocks. And all this extra rocks they brought over to his property and just kind of left here for a while because they didn't really have anywhere else to put it. The rocks actually came from the Chickamauga area, I think is what we...
Yeah, that's what you said yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, and so if you notice, the original wall, so they, anyways, they ended up using those rocks as the original wall around the cemetery because before that...
I think this side might show it a little bit better, sorry.
Okay, before that there was a, just a wooden fence, okay, around it. So, but if you'll notice, there's a distinctive, and it's harder to tell here than in some of the other areas.
But I think this spot is a little bit better.
There's a distinctive difference between the types of rocks down here and at the top. Where the wall gets higher on Roswell Road, you can really tell the difference. So this would have been the height of the original wall, which was only about 2 feet tall.
Yeah, it's a little bit over that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then, as a WPA project, which we learned all about at our Kennesaw Mountain
2 weeks ago.
Joint.
The CCC camp?
Yes, the CCC camp. Well, I don't know if the guys that did this were involved specifically with the CCC camp.
That I don't know, but they did a lot of WPA projects.
It was a WPA project to, I guess, reinforce and extend the wall. And so the rocks from here on up to the top was a WPA project. And there is one particular rock, we'll have to find it. So look out for it when you're driving down Wall Street.
Yeah. Did you bring that picture?
I didn't. Dang it. There's one rock somewhere in the wall that you can see on Roswell Street side from the outside. That's it's like a big rock.
Isn't it, didn't it say like past the hardware store? Yeah, or right, yeah. I didn't notice it on this side when we were driving earlier. I didn't notice, but I was too busy looking.
The WPA guys in the 1930s who extended the height of this wall, they specifically put that big rock there as a memorial to themselves and the hard work that they put into it.
Which I appreciate, because many times we don't give ourselves credit for things, and later you're like, I should have done this. They knew at the time to do it, and I appreciate that.
So,
all right.
That's the wall.
So yeah, there's some more grave markers right there. I know, Anastasia, it's one of those things. Oh Lord, I'll let her look in that window. So it's one of those things that 1970 definitely, but you might have been able to, depending on what unit or things, to get one, but you couldn't purchase another one after 1970. You might have already had one in your name, it depends. And then some people could sell with the appropriate federal permission, I guess, or like trade out, that kind of stuff. All right, so if you can hear Jane running, she's gonna be going. Amy's gonna get in, and I'm gonna pass this to her so I don't have to. Woo.
Here we go. And our chauffeur today is Mr. Steve Neal with the City of Marietta. All right, here we go.
Up the hill. Yeah. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision, because it is like the gasoline really nice.
I love that smell.
I do too. There's a good shot of the house there too.
Yeah, beautiful home. It's now a business. And there's some new condos they put in.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, so we're going to get to the top of the hill, and hopefully everybody can hear me, but we're going to get to the top of the hill, and we're going to talk about the rostrum.
All right.
That's what it's called. It is not a
That's our
bandstand.
vocab of the week. Look at that shot. Bring a tear to your eye. All right. Here we go.
All right, guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, there is definitely no glamorous way to get out of that Jeep, I'm just saying. All right, so we have right here, this is the flagstone pathway that was put in 1947. So we're going to get up here, because I do have some pictures I want to show. So this says, in memory of Armed Forces of the United States missing in action. So there are a lot of unknown burials here. I want to say it's somewhere in like the 3,000 range, right?
Probably.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and actually, Brad Quinlan, who we mentioned earlier, I think he has actually found the identities of at least 90 or 100 of these unknown soldiers through his research.
Holding those for a second. All right, so what we have here is this beautiful arbor. This is wisteria that is on this arbor, and you can see these brick pillars. I believe there are 12. It looks like 12. Doing my quick math.
Yeah, there sure are.
So
we're surprised that they're as old as they are, because the brick looks newer, but
the brick. Well, again, I don't know if it's all the brick. Like this guy right here, that pillar, I can't even see the wisterias. Got to come in here when it blooms.
I'd like to know how old the wisteria is, because I'm not good at that, guessing the age of plants.
No, I'm not.
And so if anybody wants to take a stab at it.
So this is the side entrance to the rostrum. We're going to get up in there in a second, just so I can give you guys like the full view. This rostrum was actually built in 1940, okay? This is marble. It's actually Alabama marble from a Mississippi company in Georgia.
Okay.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
So it is, let me get over here. This is, gosh, it's a great view.
As with all old things.
No, it's condensation. It's because the sun's hitting it. Because it's on the other side too. So there's the mountain, there's the lodge, there's the archway.
Oh,
Cole Manor.
Since we're here, let's check out. So check out the view. Look towards the city, towards the square. Okay. So you're looking towards the square from on top of the hill, and
I thought something just hit me, but I think it was my mic thing. Sorry, it hit my face. Squirrel. Sorry. I was like, if it's a bug.
From around this spot, okay, this is the view you have now. However, in about not 19,
because we just discussed
1870, okay, this would have been the view that you had from this spot. Now, how do we know it's from 1870? There's a couple of things. One big thing that will tell us that. If you look, here is, let's see if I can do this upside down.
No, you're okay.
The city, okay, the square around the square. If you notice these four...
The square around the square, is that what you said?
It's around the square. Yes, it's a square around the square.
Well, you know, I'm just making sure I'm hearing
It makes sense in my world.
I totally get
it. So, 4 little dots here, or dashes. Those are the 4 columns that were left after the courthouse that was here during the Civil War, when it was burned by the Union occupation.
What?
Yes, we did about how many years ago now did we do the sesquicentennial? And
2014, so it'd be about 7.
Burning, so if any of y'all were here, remember that. This is the remains, so we know that because we have another shot of that building in ruins, and it's got 4 columns, so you can distinctly see the 4 columns there. You can also see, I'm going to have to do it this way, the ruins here, I think, of the Cole Hotel. So Henry Green Cole, who we've been talking about, he was a hotel owner as well on the square. And then I think the building,
you think it's that
here? No, the ruins are right here.
Oh, yeah, no,
I think the building next to it over here is possibly the Masonic Hall that was
gotcha.
You know? So the city's still in ruins. I'm not sure what all these are. That might have been a mill. This could be a church, or it could be the tannery, if it had a smokestack over here, the Wilder Tannery that you can see the ruins of on Kennesaw Avenue. I'm not sure what that smokestack is, but regardless, the thing that absolutely does are the 4 pillars there, because the new courthouse after this was built, I think around
1872.
1872. So
that's when they started to build it. Yeah.
When they started to build it. So it gives us a pretty good idea of when this.
Can you show the picture?
This one?
Yes, that'll work for the moment. And then I want the map one too, actually. So this is 1899. This is Memorial Day. This is what the original rostrum looked like. You guys can see people out there. You can see the pillars. So the pillars that you just saw, I'm going to pan back over, in this arbor, the original rostrum bricks were used to make some of these columns, not all of the pillars in this arbor. So there is original.
Yeah.
That arbor was built in the 1880s. This is 1899. And then if you could show if you'd like to see more pictures of the National Cemetery coming soon to a museum near you, will be a new exhibit focusing on some of those. All right, so this is
We're Which way should I do it? This way.
Yeah, let's do this. So this is a map done in 1892 by Daniel Webster Cole, son of Henry Green Cole. You can see the lodge, which was over on a different side. The well is where the lodge pretty much is now. You're the little well right here.
Oh, right there. Okay, yeah.
So there's the well. The lodge is there now. That lodge right there is the one that they built on that wasn't structurally sound. There are outbuildings still, but they're not those. You guys kind of saw them just a minute ago. But there used to be a lake, little tiny little lake. We think they took out a tree down there not too long ago. You can see the way the graves are marked out.
Right, and round.
And round for officers and things like that. And then the rostrum is right there.
Right there.
And then the flagpole is in a different location. Well,
Flagstaff's right there. It's
well, it's right here now. It's on the opposite side.
Oh yeah, it's on the opposite side of the
And then,
also though, look at this real quick.
oh, I'm sorry.
I did notice when I was looking over this that on a couple of spots on this map have a dot with a square around it. That's where they had cannons, and so a lot of times you'll see in old pictures of the cemetery, you'll see cannons, Civil War cannons, and also there's also what would you call it, pyramid of cannonballs?
Yeah.
I guess that they used to have as a memorial as well, kind of placed sporadically around the cemetery. Well, come to find out, during World War II, those indeed, as with many things, were melted down to use as metal.
which I believe we talked about in our National Youth Administration video.
Probably.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
I know it's, John, I know it's really windy up here. I'm sorry. It's obviously our location. We're going to be going downhill soon, so it shouldn't be so much of an issue.
Okay.
But let me show you guys this real quick, too. I'm not going to go into full detail. But this is the Wisconsin monument that was put in the 20s, if I remember this correctly. And yes, that is a badger on top. Because if you know Wisconsinites, they love their badgers. And
Yeah, I
that's
thought
what
it was
that
a beaver.
is. No, it's a badger. And then also, I'm going to try and zoom in, guys. Just because, you know, you watched that video 3 weeks ago from the Coca-Cola building. You might be able to see above it the relief of the Coca-Cola. I can't, oh lordy gosh, guys, sorry. I can't even zoom in right because the sun's in my face, but it's there. All right, so what we're going to do now is, all right, I think she's ready. I think she's ready to talk about one of her favorite people. She's not in the camera shot, so I'm going to talk about
I
her.
hear you talking about me. I've already been warned. I have to keep this short. Fine.
I will say this. When I first started working with Amy, you know, when we were young and still young, one of the first exhibits I think she redid was the Henry Green Cole bedroom.
Yeah.
Back it was one of the first. So her love affair with Henry Green Cole has spanned into the second decade at this point.
It goes way back.
It goes way back.
I go way back with Henry.
We won't tell his wife Georgia that, but in just a second we're going to go down this National Cemetery. We should say he made a provision that his family would be allowed to be buried here. And so I believe there's 17 members here right now.
I think so.
So yeah, let's go over there. We're going to get back into Lady Jane. It's not a far one, so we'll be over there. Let me turn this around so you guys can see. Again, it's beautiful marble work. I mean, benches. It's gorgeous. And again, the flagstone is from 1947, so it's not as old as some people might think. Oh, there's Wilma. Sorry, guys. I'll start reading random names. Joan. Oh, there's two Jones buried next. I hope the guy didn't marry two Jones because, you know, or maybe it's smart to do that. So here's the flagpole. And actually, we're just going to go right down the hill to their plot. They have this kind of triangular plot in the cemetery. Doesn't Lady Jane look good? All right. That's a view too, guys. Look at that. Oh, it's amazing. All right, what?
I'm not going to stand by the Jeep while you're talking because it'll pick up the noise. They can't hear you talking.
There's another view. All right. Sorry.
Well, now I got... Here we go. could have walked it, but why walk when you have a Jeep?
I do this ladylike. There's no good way. These Jeeps were not made for women to get in and out of. I'm just saying. All right, so we are here. This is, you can see they're working. It's again, look at this view, everybody. You've got this triangular plot. This is the main tombstone.
Can everybody hear us okay?
Yeah,
right there?
let us know if we need to have Steve move down the hill a little bit. Yes, Anna, that is true. Henry was accused of being a Northern spy. Or Eddie, thank you, Eddie. Yeah, it is true. So yeah, all right. I'm gonna stay behind the camera. I want you to be in the shots. Well, let's let's point out. Oh, and the books are in my bag.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So first off, we can put it on the ground too. I don't care. First, you have Louise Eastman Fletcher. She is the youngest daughter of Dix and Louisa Fletcher. Our building, the Kennesaw House, was owned by Dix Fletcher. At one point, it was called the Fletcher House. So this is Dix's. Well, no, I haven't gotten her yet.
Oh.
Hold on. I said Louise first.
Oh, Louise, yeah.
This is
we got a picture of Louise in here.
yeah. This is Mrs. Dix Fletcher. So this is Louisa. I'm trying to figure out what the symbol is. This tombstone needs to be cleaned, but
Yeah, we're not sure.
we're not sure what that one is. But this one is definitely a calla lily or Easter lily. So calla lily. Sorry, calla lily. Says mother. But if you'll notice very quickly, Dix says died July 13th, 1886. Louise, the daughter, July 12th, 1886.
A day apart.
Day apart. And then we actually have in our collection, somebody would go around wearing like an obituary notice.
Yes, walk around town.
Walk around town. So we actually have all three of theirs, right?
We do.
Yeah. So
yeah, and quickly with the Fletcher family, the Cole family, we do have a lot of their artifacts, letters, well, not a journal, but we have some journals, scrapbooks. We have clothing, textiles, personal effects. We've got a lot of stuff from this family, so we do know a lot about this family, which is wonderful for us to have. And so, just to show you some of the pictures. Now, this book.
Oh, hold on, sorry guys.
Okay, is Journal of a Landlady, written by or edited by Henry Higgins and Connie Cox, which is Dan Cox's wife, for those who don't know, and Jean Cole Anderson. Jean Cole Anderson was a descendant of the Cole family, and she owned the original journal that this was published from.
Yes.
And this was the journal of Louisa Fletcher, who was buried here. Here's a picture of Dix and Louisa that are buried here.
Yep.
And then these are their three daughters that they brought here to Marietta. We've got Louise, Georgia's here, and
Eliza.
Yeah. So it goes, Georgia's the oldest. She marries Henry Green Cole. Then Eliza, she marries, shockingly enough, a Midwesterner Union officer.
Yes, he's not a Northerner, he's a Midwesterner.
Yes,
There's a difference, everybody.
Well, it's funny because this whole family were Union sympathizers, really. They were originally from Massachusetts, got to Marietta by way of Savannah.
Yeah.
And they, so they supported the Union during the war. However, the only daughter that did not was Eliza. And so that's why it's kind of funny that after all that time supporting the Confederacy, she's the one who ends up marrying a Midwesterner, a Union soldier. So she ends up going to Illinois, I think.
Yeah, Quincy.
Yeah, and so she's probably buried there. I don't know. Is she
I think
buried here? Yeah,
she's not
probably
buried
there.
here. Yeah.
And then here's Louise, who died a day before her father. Day before or after?
Day before
her father. Yeah. So those are the Fletchers. These are some other Cole members, family members that are some of the children of Henry and Georgia.
Well, these two, no, this is Georgia and Henry. These are newer monuments markers to them.
I was looking at Mary Warren.
Well, I'm
Okay,
sorry, yes,
yeah.
Mary Warren is a daughter, but Georgia, it's hard to see with this marble, guys, I know. This is Henry Green Cole, but these are newer markers, something that is not uncommon for families to do, especially when descendants start to make money and they could afford to do it.
Now, when Henry died, they did put up this monument to him, I believe, at that time, or sometime soon after. Henry Green Cole, born Chenango County, New York, August 19th, 1815, died in Marietta, April 18th, 1875, and then there's his wife. So, I've been told I have to keep this short and sweet. It's impossible with Henry. But let me hit some of the highlights of this.
Yes,
Okay?
highlights.
So, highlights of Henry Greenhold. So, during the war, yes, he was a Union sympathizer. He owned the Marietta Hotel.
Yeah.
Y'all know the program about. And he was outspoken about supporting the Union Army. So, he was very active as a Union spy. We do have that documented. It is a fact. It's not just hearsay. He was a Union spy. He was sending information by way of an African American slave to the Union Army about information about Confederate forces. And
I don't know if I think isn't it the barber?
well, it could have been a barber. I'm not sure. We don't know exactly. Who
Okay,
it was.
okay. I digress.
His husband?
I think so, but he was free black.
Okay, so he's a freedman. Okay,
Yeah.
I see him correctly. Yeah. And so Henry was outspoken. He got caught, essentially, for being a spy. So in about 1864, he ends up being imprisoned. He's caught as a spy. Imprisoned first in Atlanta and then sent to South Carolina. Hickney, I think is what it's called. And he ends up there. While in jail, he wasn't a really robust man.
No.
He was tall and skinny and kind of sickly.
Yeah.
And he catches something while he's there in the cold.
I believe he had a bad case of dyspepsia too, if I have read this correctly. I don't know, but I think it's stomach issues.
So he catches that and he never fully recovers. So that's why he dies later in 1870.
Probably a lot of bronchial, upper respiratory.
He's just not well when he comes home.
Yeah.
Anyways, they do eventually get him home. One of the reasons, but while he was in jail, we also know that Alexander Stephens, of all people, the vice president of the Confederacy, was actually writing letters to try to help him get out of jail. So there's a Union spy, and Alexander Stephens is trying to pull strings. So they were kind of buddies before the war.
Yeah.
And we know this because...
Can you speak up a little bit? Or I'll try and get closer because I got the Jeep here too. So
I'm going to do this. Does that help?
I don't know. I can hear you fine.
Mask out of here. Okay. So we know that Alexander Stephens helped him because after the war was over, Stephens was caught in prison, vice president of the Confederacy, and he was sent to a jail up in New York. And
hold on, guys. We're gonna check. Let's. Can you check your mic thing, Pack?
I'm on.
Okay. All right. Here. Hold on. Let me just.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
All right. Go ahead. Let's see if maybe that way helps.
Okay. All right. How's that, Philip? So, okay. So Alexander Stephens is in jail in New York. Can't hear it all, Donna? The other one is blasting in our ears. Oh my goodness. Can't hear her. Okay. These are new mic packs for us, guys. Thank you for bearing with us. Oh, Philip said it's good now. Okay. We're gonna...
Okay. I'm off right now, so go ahead.
Okay, and I took mine away from me too. So we're just gonna do the old school, using the iPad. Okay. Alexander Stephens is in jail in New York. He writes a journal while in jail and letters. And part of his journal, which you can, it's been published, which you can find somewhere probably on the internet, he does specifically mention that he hopes that he had a visitor one day, and Mr. Cole. I missed most of what y'all said. Where should I start over? This is a mess.
Anastasia, you'll just have to watch the replay. I will have it on YouTube. But
and if we'll watch it again. If there's something that was missing, we can type it in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Alexander Stephens mentions that he had a visitor while he was in jail. It was a Mr. Henry Green Cole, who was, we also know because we have pictures, took a trip to New York after the war, and apparently on this trip to New York, he visited Mr. Stephens, trying to get him out of jail. So at this point, Stephens is in a Union and a federal prison, and Mr. Cole is trying to help him get out of jail. And Stephens says something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing here, but something to the effect of, I can only hope that Mr. Cole is more successful in getting me out of jail than I was in getting him out of jail. So it's just an interesting, relationship that I was not expecting to have. I found it randomly one day while reading about Alexander Stephens. And, it's just kind of a shock. My jaw just dropped. I was like, what? So, okay, so that's Mr. Cole's prison history. He also has a little bit of a possible history with the Great Locomotive Chase. So for those of you who are familiar with that, I did a series of videos that you can watch on the chase. 1862, Andrews Raiders came down to Marietta, stole the train to General, which is in Kennesaw. Well, I do feel that there are some ties to Mr. Cole because, of course, he was in this Union spy ring. And let me get this right. So we know for a fact that the men spent the night in our hotel the night before they stole the train, Andrews Raiders. Well, we also know that Mr. Andrews went to visit a couple of the men who were staying in Mr. Cole's hotel, and that he spent quite some time there. They don't know what he was doing. My guess is he was talking to Henry Green Cole, and Cole was probably giving him some information about the railroad and what to expect and that sort of thing, because he was a spy. Why not? The other part of it was that during the raid, the Fletcher family, so Dixon Louisa, who we just showed you pictures of, they conveniently sent that middle daughter, Eliza, off to visit, I think she was in Huntsville, or off to visit some relatives, to get out of town, because one of the raiders had actually gone to college with her at Antioch College, and so Marion Ross. And so there was a whole other connection there, and I'm sure they were afraid that she would have recognized him had she seen this guy come in as a spy, pretending to be a Confederate soldier. Yeah. Anyways, there's some connections there. Yeah. We have everything but the smoking gun, but I do feel like Henry Green Cole was involved in the Great Locomotive Chase. I just don't have the smoking gun. Also, Henry Green Cole, obviously, I told you about his donation of this land here. What else have I mentioned? Oh, just a couple other books that I wanted to show you. Want to turn it around?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
This is a really cool book.
Oh, my God, sorry.
I'll move over here so you can hear me. This is a really cool book that Thomas Dyer was a professor at UGA, and it's called Secret Yankees, the Union Circle in Confederate Atlanta, and it talks all about those Union soldiers that, spies, the spy ring in Atlanta during that time. Mr. Cole is mentioned in here, and so it's a really interesting book.
That is Amy's copy. We do not carry that in the store, just an FYI to everybody. And also, I should mention with Journal of a Landlady, that is out of print, so we do not have it available.
Online,
you can, but it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So let me go around and look at these other ones. If you want to turn your mic back on, let's see if maybe that'll help you.
Well, I never turned it off. I just moved it.
Oh, okay. We'll just see if that. So we have another. Okay, this is the part that's going to be a little confusing. Maud Cole Fletcher was a daughter of the Coles, but married a Fletcher, like, cousin-ish thing. So I'm going to use that because I don't know the actual number. So I'm going to kind of go through all these because I want to do Ashley last real quick.
Okay.
Sorry. So this is Henry Green Cole Jr., Major in the Army. He actually dies in 1912. You guys can see that, of yellow fever. And then this is another little one to Henry Green Cole. I'm gonna come back to the corner.
Okay.
These are gonna be backwards. I don't know why it's turned this way. It kind of bothers me. But this is Daniel Webster, the one who made the map that we showed you. His wife, Carolyn Tupper Fraser. We have some of her pictures. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll keep going. You look at those pictures. You have Marjorie Fraser Cole. I'm going to show you this one over here in just a second. Oh my gosh, put the tombstones in the correct way, people. Constance.
I keep my shadow keeps.
I know you do. May McIntosh Cole. This was actually one of their children. Here's DeWitt.
Did you get to Marjorie? Is she here? She's not here, is she?
Yeah, she's over on their side. Okay. And then this, actually, Amy, this is Jean Lavatte Cole Anderson, the one of the book that we talked about.
Yes.
Yes.
She helped edit
Journal
of the Landlady. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the one I did not show is that one.
Okay.
Lois.
Well, let's go over here.
Which one am I doing?
On this side, these three.
Oh, okay. So Marjorie, Carolyn, and Daniel Webster.
Yes.
Okay.
So Daniel Webster Cole was an engineer. He actually worked on building a number of dams in our country.
Well, damn.
He did. Family man builds a dam. And so we've got this book. I don't think we sell it anymore.
No,
though.
we sold
We're out of copies. Yeah, but someone wrote a story on him and his life and his stories, because there's all these photos of his life in the West building these dams. It's really, really a fun story.
We actually do have some of the dam pictures. Sorry, I had to think about how I said that.
So anyways, here is a portrait of, you've got Marjorie is the little girl who's buried over here.
Yep.
You've got Carolyn, which we have some of her clothing.
Yes, we do.
And then you've got Daniel Webster. Okay, so they're buried over there. Then you have one of their other daughters, right here, Lois Warren.
So Warren, the name Warren actually is Louisa's. One of Louisa Fletcher's family names is Warren.
Yeah.
She's Louisa Patch Warren.
Yes.
Or is it? Yeah.
She's Warren's her main name.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me find a picture of.
So as you
Lois.
guys can see, it says April 1st, 1900, in Massachusetts, and then which he was doing engineering work there. That's why it's not Marietta. And then Fallon, Nevada, February 23rd, 1911. So she's only 11. I looked really quickly. Did it say in the book where she passed away
Yes.
from?
Okay.
Okay.
So here's a photo in the
wait,
back of the
here
book. There's a family
I know that photo.
Yeah, family photo of when they're out in the West. And baby Jean, there's Jean Cole Anderson, gets a steadying hand from her parents, while sisters Georgia on the left and Marjorie on the right sit on the front porch. Oh, I thought Lois was here. Okay, wait a minute. There's a picture of Lois. Let me find her. So Lois, so one of the last places they went to was, I've got it. Where did it go?
Nevada.
But what specifically?
She didn't mark the page like she normally does, so that's a problem with it.
It was the Truckee Carson Project.
Truckee Carson.
Oh, my mic's weight on there. The Truckee Carson Project, and it was located near the Paiute. Is that how you say that? Paiute Shoshone
Yeah, I guess so.
Indian Reservation. So Lois was really excited about going. She's a little girl at this time. She's 11 years old. She's excited about going to this new place with the Indians.
Well, who isn't? I mean, it's.
And don't put me on. I don't have my map.
Well, there you go. Sorry, my bad.
Trying to get you to where you can listen. Okay,
Oh,
here's
there-
Lois.
There
Here's
she is.
Lois.
Now that
on a
looks like
horse.
fun.
Yes. Okay. So, anyways, unfortunately, they moved to this new site. And she soon after dies from scarlet fever, shortly after the move to a desert. And it's sad because they, I don't know if we have these in our collection or not, but the author found letters that she wrote.
I don't know about the letters.
Letters that she wrote about how excited she wrote them back home to Marietta about how excited she was to be moving to this new place with the Indians and all this. And unfortunately, she dies as 11 years old. So that's where she is here.
If you're wondering about scarlet fever, if you ever get strep throat and you don't get it taken care of, it can turn into scarlet fever. The reason I know that is because that happened to my nephew.
Oh.
Don't worry, he's fine.
Okay.
Because again, we have ways to treat it. But yes, that's what scarlet fever is. All right, so I'm very proud of you for being succinct.
I was.
So Henry
go
Green
on and on
Cole
about Henry.
dies in 1875, probably because of the complications from being in the Confederate prisons, and his health just deteriorates. He does help a lot of other people around here in those last 10 years, not only donating the land for the National Cemetery, but helping those who apply for Southern Claims Commissions. That's money from the federal government. So he does his part to help others after the war, for sure.
I do want to mention that even though he was a Union supporter and he did help freedmen and he did help them after the war, he was also still a slave owner before the war. So it's not always, as right or wrong as you may think, that everyone who supported the Union wasn't a slave owner or vice versa. Slave owners didn't support the Union. So, I do want to point that out.
So Amy's going to grab our stuff and we're going to go to our last stop. I'm just going to kind of show you guys this view from this hill because we're on the top of the hill kind of here too. We got some people walking. But again, it's very laid out in a very specific way. The tombstones are, I believe they're 4 feet apart. They're done on purpose like that. So yeah, it's a great view. We're gonna go get back in the Jeep. We're gonna go along the fence line. You'll get a better idea there. And then also, look, she just popped back like right next to me. But also, we'll say hey to our new favorite person, and that's Sergeant Cool.
Oh, yes.
That's his name, I swear. So, all right, we're gonna be quiet. You'll hear the Jeep, okay?
You have to point out Sergeant Cool because I don't know where he is.
He'll be like right when we turn.
Okay.
that view. Where's cool? There he is. There's Sergeant Cool. Alright. Hello! In the back seat. All right. There you go. All right, guys. So really quick, before we head over, you can see there are a few that are different. Oh, here it is. There it is. And you can apply to have a different one. You just have to get it approved. But now they're pretty much the same style. All right, Amy, where have you taken me?
All right, so this section, can they hear me if I walk over here? I don't know if
I'm going to stay as close as I can.
So this section...
Hold on, I'm going to show this, not you.
Yeah, don't
No
show me.
offense.
This section of the cemetery includes a number of USCT soldiers, okay? That's United States Colored Troops. And these soldiers, a number of them were in Marietta area during the Atlanta campaign and did die in this area. And so they were buried here. And some of them, I think even after the war, served as guards for other cemetery areas, other areas that were buried before they moved them here, guards over railroad sites, a variety of different jobs even after the war. But for the ones who did die on the battlefield, they were buried here. You can see over here,
They have numbers on them for those that are unknown. Some of them do say unknown, some of them do have names. But also, the numbering system is a way to track where your family member is buried. This Josephus.
It's interesting because this one, Josephus Dickerson,
Company
E.
Oh, Company E. Sorry, I thought it said.
E, 110 U.S. I think is what it says,
Mm-hmm.
and it's CLD infantry,
Colored infantry.
So it says colored infantry on this one. But then his comrade over here, both of these guys.
Yes.
They have smaller markers, and like this is Henry Idle, and it just says USCT.
Yeah, and so does Biffin, and then there's a few
USCT.
behind them too.
Yeah.
See.
So you can tell which ones were these guys over here by their markers.
So yeah. So let's go back to Emma real quick. That's
Yeah.
our last stop that I was showing you guys
Yeah.
first. We do have Amy put up last year a panel and a mannequin display for Emma Stevenson, who is the nurse buried here, right here.
Yeah, and we do have some information on the USCT soldiers and just the African American experience during the Civil War in general as well in the area, slaves versus the few that were free. But this is Emma Stevenson, and she was a nurse, died July 16th, 1864, while taking care of some of the sick and wounded here. July 16th, yeah, she would have been at a probably a field hospital. I believe. Her story is documented by Brad Quinlan. He found out a lot of information about her, but also if you go to Kennesaw Mountain, Battlefield Park, National Battle, and go to their visitor center, about 5 or 6 years ago, they redid their movie that you watch when you go, and they highlight her story among some of the others. There's also a USCT soldier that they highlight. He was he carried the, what do you call it? Not a flag bearer. He carried
The colors?
no,
for
the
the
gurney, not gurney. What do you call it?
You gotta give me a little bit.
Bodies off of the
It's a
field.
gurney.
Is it a gurney? Okay. So, anyways, but they do highlight her story in that video, thanks to the work of Brad Quinlan. And then,
well, let me be, because I don't think you actually said it.
What?
She's an African American nurse. I don't think you
yes,
actually
I'm
said,
sorry.
but
Yes.
no, just I knew what you were saying.
Yes.
But also, that's one of the reasons why you don't see a birth date.
Right.
They probably had no idea what year. Like she might have known, but
I'm not sure where she was from. It would have been somewhere north of the Mason-Dixon line.
yeah.
And, but again, they may have that information documented. I didn't grab that, and I apologize for that before I came out here. But I know she was very well loved by the soldiers that she took care of. Why are you so close to me?
Take a guess.
I don't know.
Because
So you can hear me?
Yes. Oh my God. I was trying to be stealth.
Like super zoom. So she was very well loved by the soldiers that she took care of, and I believe a number of soldiers mentioned her specifically in their letters home, and those are in one of Brad's books as well. That we did carry at the museum. If we are out of that particular one, I have it in my office, so you can look at that as well.
The hospital one. Yeah. No, we have it.
Yeah,
We have it.
Yeah, we have that. For
We
sale.
do. Yeah.
So.
All right. So
All
come
right.
over here, close
Okay.
this way. Here, just another view, guys, because I can't get enough of it. All right. So, thank you for the.
Sorry, I keep doing this.
It's hard. I
bad.
understand. Thanks for the mic things and checking on us, guys. We're still working it out.
We need a sound man, a professional sound man. If anyone
Yeah.
would like to volunteer,
Hold the boom mic for us, all that
yes,
jazz.
please.
Um,
We're struggling. We have an iPad, and Krista found these, which we thought would work great, but we're gonna have to try again for something else.
Somebody else told me to order them.
I
and
know.
did.
I mean, I'm not saying
I
that.
think it's whoever's closest to the iPad you can hear really well, and once you start getting farther away. But anyway,
Okay.
I digress. Next week, we don't have the exact location, but next week is the beginning of February, so we will be focusing on African American history
Wow. I can't
and
believe
Black
next week is February.
Yeah, Monday. So we will be doing Black History Month. We will be focusing on African American and Black history in Marietta and Cobb County all next month.
Yep.
So
every Friday.
every Friday, yeah. So we will see you guys next week at a location that's a surprise to us too.
TBA.
as always. But thank you so much.
We have many ideas. We just have to get permission. That's it.
Yeah, and it's weather contingent. Okay, guys. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.